I'm back, bitches! Alright, y'all. Since I have my pot pie video I just filmed, I'm getting ready to make a dessert. A lot of people, well, I used to make it when I worked at the fire department. Basically, I called it apple crisp, but some people call it a dump cake because you're just dumping your ingredients in. You're not really having to, pardon me, I gotta get this microwave going. You're not really having to do measuring, per se. You're gonna measure with your eyes. Get your eyeballs right. Make sure I don't blow that butter up that's in the microwave. Okay, so I've got my oven right now at 400 because Hub's oven cooks a little hotter than mine at the other house. Usually I cook this around between 400 and 425. You either need an 8x8, I recommend a glass or a ceramic pan, or your 9x11, the big boy. I usually make it in the bigger one. This is what we're working with here, and it's like an 8x6 or some odd measurement. I don't know, but it's deep. I'll make it work because I'm going to show you measuring with your eyes, so it really doesn't matter. So, here's where we're at. I have one stick of, ooh, that was ugly. The microwave is right where my laptop is. Give me a second. Ooh, flirting with danger. Alright, so I've got one stick of butter that I've melted. Kind of. So, melted a little more. I was afraid it was going to blow up in there. So, yeah. Sorry, y'all. It's going to be loud. Stop. I don't like... Anyway, okay. So, basically, you're going to need your glass dish. Work with me on the speech that I'm trying to use now because I've slept little and I can't speak properly, apparently. I'm going to go spray this. This butter spray is getting a workout today. Belgian waffles, then to the mini pot pies, and now to the pan that's going to have the dessert. Alright, so my oven's about 400, like I told you. Microwave's beeping in your ear. Sorry about that. You're right up on it. I'm going to use some Comstock. Going with the apple, no sugar added. Basically, you're using a pie filling. You can choose generic, you can use the regular. I find Comstock has more fruit chunks than juicy stuff, gel. You know, those generic sometimes they put too much gel out of fruit. Anyway, I have made this with apple awesomeness, and I have made it with cherry, which is also one of my very favorites. I guess you can use any filling, so you could probably use raspberry if you can find it. Blueberry I've used, but it's not as sweet. So if you're a blueberry lover, blueberry pie lover, you'll like the blueberry crisp or blueberry dump cake, whatever you want to call it. I don't really care for the blueberries much because I like the sweetness. And I think I've done strawberry a long time ago with some filling. Anyway, whatever you find in the can, pie filling. So going with the Comstock apple. And it's going to be pretty simple. Let me get back here where my stuff is. I saw this earlier today. Didn't even realize I had it. It's way back in the cabinet. All you need is a simple white cake mix. You can use a yellow cake mix. When it was taught to me, white cake mix. You can use Duncan Hines, you can use Betty Crocker, use whatever you want. I buy what's on sale. This was like 88 cents for the box. So plastic, white, regular cake. So basically I have sprayed my pan. You saw that. I'm going to basically take my cake powder, the actual cake mix. This right here. It is not an illegal substance in a bag. None of that. Alright, I gotta get my can opener again because I put it away after that last video. Stop beeping at me. I know that. Okay, so here's how the assembly goes so that I can open stuff while I stall for time and tell you how it goes. One stick of butter melted. White cake mix. Any kind. I have not used chocolate cake mix. I would imagine you can, but you're not going to get that same kind of crust that you would get for... Sorry. Give me a minute. Having a moment. Butter knife. Alright. So I've sprayed my pan. I'm going to basically... The stove is not so level. you're going to dump in, if you're doing the big 9 by 11 pan, it's one box of cake mix to maybe a little more. So expect to have a bag you're going to need to seal in a Ziploc. I'm only going to put half of this in here at the moment. Well, maybe 3/4 because it's deep. You just want to make it as level as you can. I've sprayed it first with the butter spray like you heard. You didn't see, but you heard. Okay. I'm going to make this as level as I can. Does not have to be perfectly flat. What you want down here is to end up with about 1 inch to 1.5 inches worth of powder, okay? I'm going to put just a smidge more in the middle because the sides have more than the middle for some reason. Because I'm off today. You know, that's how it is. Stove is off. I'm off. We're all off kilter. We all need a V8. Okay, so basically that's it. Sprayed my glass pan. I put this powder mix in. It is just sitting in there. You're going to take your melted butter. Put the brakes on that. Let me do this again. You know what? I love when I have amateur hour. My brain is just going and my hands are doing one thing, my brain's saying something else, and I totally have not made this recipe in a while, and I surely got ahead of myself. So, I probably edited that part out, but if I didn't, I pretty much did it backwards. Just put it that way. So, this is going to be your basic dump cake and or crisp blueberry, apple, whatever you pick out of the can. Cherry is one of my favorites. I'm doing the sugar-free apple today. Not that sugar-free is helping it at all. So, start over again because I totally botched it. Totally did. Hang on. Gonna spray the glass pan. I usually use a 9 by 11, 9.5, whatever it is by 11. I don't have that size here. I just have this really deep one that's like 8 by 6. So that's what we're working with today. Okay, there's my pan. Get all this stuff out of the way. Alright, got my dinner all in the background. So basically, got my cake mix from the box, which I'm put about half to 3/4 of the cake mixes in this bowl. Not in this bag, because I'm not sure how I'm editing this yet, but you may or may not see where I totally fucked it up and I put the cake mix and started dumping it in, wasn't thinking. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to work with the Comstock apple, because that's what I have. I didn't even realize the only reason I'm making this is because I was digging for something else in the cabinet today and came across this can of Comstock apple. And I know exactly why I have it, because I only use it to make this particular dessert. Not that only, but I mean the way that it's up there with the white cake mix. So anyway, you can use any cake mix, white preferably. You can use yellow. I've done it before. Doesn't taste any different. Not sure about chocolate. Y'all wing it. Let me know. It shouldn't be bad though, but chocolate cherry sounds awesome. But anyway, this is going to be your crispy crust that's on top, kind of like a cobbler type thing. It is hot in here. You don't understand. I've been cooking the oven up for her. Anyway, all right, moving on. Don't feel my pain. I just sprayed this behind you. Take my word for it. Opened my can. Basically, I am going to... Oh, but Jesus. All right, let me tell y'all a little secret. See this? How these apples are humongous? Comstock will have a lot of fruit, being a name brand. Sometimes the generics have more of the gel part, pie filling, and not so much fruit chunks. So this is one thing I don't buy generic too often on. Walmart's generic is not bad. I've used it. But it's up to you. You know, it tastes the same either way. I'm going to use this knife, and yes, a butter knife can cut. It doesn't mean it's dull as a butter knife. Oh, there's a little bit of an apple stem. That means it's a real apple. Out of there. So I'm just chopping these a little bit, and what I'm going to do is, this is the greased glass dish. Sorry, I see something on the camera is bugging me. This is 1 stick of melted butter. The order of putting it in, grease your pan, ceramic or glass. I don't think I've ever used metal, but it doesn't seem like it would be as slippery to get your stuff out. Anyhow, you're going to put your fruit in and make like a layer about yay thick. You don't want to be anywhere near the top of this because it's going to bubble and bubble and bubble while it cooks in the oven, and you don't want it overflowing. My oven is at 400. I think I do it normally 425 for 35. That's how I remember it. 425 degrees Fahrenheit for those of you who are here. The UK, I can't help you. And then it's going to be 35 minutes roughly when you cook it. You'll smell it. It'll start smelling your house up. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and just dump this in. Any big chunks, I'm just kind of dicing as I go. You can leave it as big chunks. Just know that when you scoop it out, if a big chunk is between where you decided you wanted to scoop, because it's more of a scoop than a cut. You're not going to cut this. It's more like a cobbler type thing. So you may end up, if you leave big chunks, you know, getting the crust all slouched off to one side. This does not need to be refrigerated when you're done cooking it. It can go on the counter. Just know that you need to lightly cover it. If you got bugs, put it in the refrigerator. It's still going to get soggy. Can't help you there. I usually try not to make more than we'll eat in maybe a day or two, because the longer it sits, it does get... That's not a big chicken. That was my husband. Touch of Ebola coming on, I guess. So anyway, I'm just kind of dicing this with this butter knife because I didn't know it was going to be this big chunks, because I haven't done this in a while. People, give me a break. It's on the fly, much like that fly that's annoying me right now. It came in when I let the dogs in the door. I knew I was cooking something good up in here. Okay, so for a smaller pan, usually 1 can is good, as it looks like it's turning out to be here. So I'm using 1 can. I do have a second can in the cabinet, and not going to break it out. This isn't really measured in my way of cooking it, because I was taught it just as kind of a dump cake. They called it an apple crisp. Cherry crisp, whatever you want to call it. So pretty much you're dumping things in. You're not All right, sorry. Got a thing for flies. Me and them have a battle going on. Benefits of cooking at home: you can lick your fingers while you cook. Lipstick's all kinds of just messed up. Okay, so here's my apple. Dumped it in. You can see it's about 1 inch thick or so. Just shake it, keep it level. Cake mix. Small pan, half a box of white cake mix, or yellow, to about 3/4. You're going to eyeball it, and I'll tell you in a second how and why. So I'm just basically shaking this on top. Try to get it as even as you can. Mine is only in a bowl because I effed it up and put it on directly instead of having the common sense to follow the recipe, which I made for years at the fire department, and I should know how to make by not even think about it. Excuse me for a second. I'm about to have a moment with this sucker over here. Come here! Alright, I'll have to get him when I get done with this video. Him, her, whatever. Equal opportunity insect. Okay. So, I'm going to use my fingers to just make it as level as I can. That's it. Your canned veggie. You can tell I'm still in the last video. Canned fruit of your choice. Get out of here. Get out of here. Seriously, get out of here. Ooh, and he's right there. He's just trying the system, y'all. Alright, so fruit of your choice. We're doing apple, sugar-free. I have already pre-melted my stick of butter. 1 stick goes across the top. If you're doing the big pan, the long one, 9.5 by 11, you probably will need a full box of cake mix because your layer is only like that thick. And then you're going to need maybe a little more than 1 stick of butter. 2 cans of fruit in the big long pan. Okay, 2 cans of fruit, 1 full box of white or yellow cake mix, and 1+ stick of butter to go on top. Now, I've made this as level as I can. It does not need to be perfection, but you do want it to be as level as you can because you're going to pour this butter on, just like so. I'm just pouring it over the top. And you know what? He is trying me. I'm telling you. I have to. Okay. So I've got the butter on top. Let me see if I can angle this down a little more. There we go. See how the butter is there? I just need it to wet the cake mix. And it doesn't have to get every single bit, but just kind of slowly tilt it and try to get as much as you can. The more you start to play with it, it will start to pull your stuff off of your cake mix. So just do it enough that you've got most of it as best you can. It does not have to be perfect. Don't use a spoon because it will pull it off like a dough and you'll have big holes. That's it. So there's the butter on top. You see it's still slouching around. I've left some space because it is going to bubble a little bit. And just for safety's sake, make sure my last recipe is cooled enough for me to grab that. I am going to put it inside of another baking pan. This is the one I use to catch the drippage, if I have any drippage from something I'm cooking. So I'm just keep this level. I'm going to put it right there in the middle. So it should just only bubble to the top if it does. When you get to the point that it's about done, you'll smell it. Keep checking it around 30-35 minutes. If you've got it at 400, 425. 425 for 35. That's my memory recipe. However, don't burn it up, people. You want it to be a nice brown on top so that it's kind of like a hardened pie crust, like the edge of a pie crust. That's what it should feel like. You're going to have some soggy, you know, not soggy, but softer stuff underneath. Great with ice cream, by the way. And I'm going to go ahead and throw this in the oven. And I will be back in 35 minutes so that I can show you what it looks like when it comes out. There's my timer. 35. And check it about. Well, I've got it on lower temperature, so I'm going to do 35. I'll be back. I got to pause it instead of stopping it because I'm tired of clipping videos together. Smells good in here. Timer's giving me a little ping after the big buzz went off. Turn this oven off. Yeah. And there would be the golden brown, people. See how talented I can be this time, balancing the laptop. Not burning the out of myself. Okay. As you can see, when I get out of the heat wave, whew, that's hot. That's about how it should look when it comes out. You got your golden brown. This, oh, hang on, switching hands. You can see it's still bubbling. So please be very careful. Let it cool for at least 45 minutes or so before you decide to serve it, lest you scald your guests badly. I highly recommend it with whipped cream. Tends to melt if it's still warm. It's great with whipped cream if it's not warm. And ice cream. Ice cream on the side, always good. I'm going to include a picture at the end. I'm not going to come back and show it. I'm going to include a picture where I've plated it up, only because I don't want to run my battery down anymore. Yeah, that's got to cool for a little while, because if you see it, it's still breathing in the corners over there. Look at it. It's alive. So, anyway, these darker brown areas here, just make sure you have some of those on top. It doesn't have to be all the way across, but basically that... Oh, I know I'm loud. I'm right in the speaker, in the mic, sorry. You can see it's hard here. These areas, not so much. So, anyway, that's what it looks like, y'all. When it cools, it's delicious. Before that, you'll probably burn your taste buds off sooner than you can notice how well it tastes, how good it tastes, excuse me. So, that's it. Hope you liked this desserts video. Impromptu, didn't really plan to do it, but I'm glad I did. Like and subscribe. And the pan is changing temperature, it just buckled. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Wasn't gonna film this, my pants are falling off, sorry. Plumber pants, I told you all about that if you watched the Belgian waffle video this morning. Alright. I got my arm stuck on the spatula. I'm about to flip the whole thing. Okay, so this is the dish. And what I have done is, ignore that empty bowl over there. I have a huge container, that one right there, that I made Persian ice cream in a long time ago. You'll have to look it up. I'm not going to give you the recipe because it took me a while to find it, to make it. And sorry, you're off the screen because I suck. So there is the finished product. You can see the apple. You can see the crust on top. It does spread apart once you cut it. So I warned you. I told y'all. I'll have to spin a little bit. My ice cream is melting rapidly because this is still warm. So you can see the crust on the edge there. Persian ice cream, basically it's got a, if you see this little nugget right there, that dark spot, that is a pistachio. It is garnished with pistachios. It's basically a vanilla ice cream, and then you add such said ingredients as, well, hell, saffron. That's what made it a little more yellow. And then it has some rose water in it. So if you have any Middle Eastern stores, Indian stores, Indian markets, any of those, even maybe the Asian market, look for rose water. It's clear. I don't have a bottle of it here. It comes in like the old Coke style glass bottles, not too big. My understanding is it is a byproduct of when they make perfume, when they do whatever they do with the rose petals. Basically looks like water, moves like water. Open the bottle and it smells like you are standing in the middle of the biggest field of roses you've ever been in your life. It's beautiful stuff. But there's a little in there, so that is kind of like a vanilla type cream ice cream that has pistachios are the garnish. They get soggy once they're in there, but really the rose water makes it. Saffron, and I can't remember the other ingredients. Even if I did, I'm not going to tell you. It took me a while to figure it out, but if you look online, there's some websites that give you all the recipes. It is a Persian ice cream, I believe. Let me see, I had the name the other night. Wow. It sucks getting old. Let me see. Okay, it's not Fess in June. That's another whole dish altogether. Give me a second. Got to think about it. Aha! I think I have it. Might be out of order. Sorry for all of you Farsi speakers out there, but I believe it is, I usually just call it Bastani, but I believe the name is Bastani Akbar Mashti. So, good luck spelling that. It's not that hard, but just put in Persian ice cream. You can find a recipe. It's really good stuff. Different than our ice cream here in America. So anyway, that's it. I'm wrapping it up. You can see I cut it here, and once you cut it, it begins to ooze. It does turn into a bit of a mess. But that's alright. It's about the taste, not the look. So, like and subscribe, and as soon as I get a whim up my ass again to decide to tape something, probably tomorrow, I will have another video for you guys.